why Megalodon went extinct. Long before the great white shark was the ocean's most feared predator, a far larger and far more dangerous shark lurked in the Earth's prehistoric depths, the Megalodon, also known as the Meg. After only recently gaining widespread acknowledgment, this massive shark has since inspired massive Hollywood films, and efforts to find and study fossils have only intensified in recent times. Some people even speculate that the massive sharks are still out there, alive and still hunting. But those people are likely under the influence of the movies. Today's video explores some of the interesting things about this very extinct creature, how it lived, what it ate, and the possible reasons for its extinction. With that, let's get started. What is a megalodon? The megalodon is, or more accurately was, a massive species of mackerel shark. The scientific name is Ototus megalodon. Ototus means ear-shaped tooth in ancient Greek, while megalodon literally means giant tooth. The beast belongs to the Chondrichthyes class, which is made up of fish with cartilage skeletons. It is further classified under the Elasmobrachii subclass, the home of modern sawfish, rays, and sharks. Both the megalodon's genus, Ototus, and family, Otodontidae, are also extinct. Genetically speaking, the Meg was most closely related to the great white shark, Carcharodon carcharias, we have today. This is why most depictions or models of the megalodon look like dramatically scaled-up great whites. In reality, we don't have much to go on regarding what the megalodon looked like. Most of the fossil remains that have been discovered are teeth. Paleontologists have discovered a few vertebrae, most of which are on display at Brussels' Royal Belgian Institute of Natural Sciences. The nature and proportionality of these backbones and teeth are most akin to those of the great white, hence the common association. But more bone fossils would go a long way to helping us identify the Meg's unique characteristics, as well as differences between it and modern sharks. So why are fossils hard to find? Well, for starters, it's generally hard to comb through the ocean looking for fossils. Over 90% of the world's oceans and seas are still unexplored. However, the biggest problem with this particular animal's fossils is the nature of its skeleton. You see, cartilage eventually dissolves in water, and it dissolves even faster in salt water. Naturally, this is a problem if you're trying to study a long-extinct animal with a skeleton made up entirely of cartilage. The preservation of the Belgian megalodon vertebra was a stroke of great luck and a result of some all-too-rare happenstance. This means that, besides complete megalodon skeletons, there are probably dozens, if not hundreds, of cartilaginous fish we might never discover. The only parts of the Meg or any shark in the Chondrichthyes clade that typically endure the ages and millennia are the teeth. Big sharks like the great white and our Meg have enamel-coated bony teeth. Unlike cartilage, bone is not so easily dissolved. While cartilage skeletons are pretty much useless for paleontology, they are immensely beneficial to living animals. Cartilage is far less dense, lighter, and more flexible than bone, yet still strong enough to provide structural support. The weight saving increases the animal's energy efficiency, which is important for animals that spend their entire lives on the move. A cartilage skeleton was the only way the megalodon could be an efficient predator at its incredible size. So how big was this massive shark? Well, pretty big. Because of the aforementioned skeleton rarity, the animal's true size is a subject of much debate. Most size estimates are based on the proportions of the great white. That said, the megalodon is believed to have ranged between 47 and 67 feet, though some scientists have more modest estimates of about 33 feet. Weight estimates are an even trickier affair. Some speculators suggest mature Megs weighed anywhere between 14 and 65 tons. While these seem pretty wild and unreliable estimates, there is an important thing to consider: sexual dimorphism. This term basically refers to the anatomical differences between males and females of a particular species. With regards to size, species like the great white display female-biased dimorphism. Females are larger than males, and this was probably the same among megalodons. Adult female Megs were the apex predators among this apex predator species. For comparison, adult great whites range between 11 and 16 feet in length and 1,150 and 2,500 pounds in weight. That means that based on our upper estimates, The largest megs were 51 feet longer and 51 times heavier than the biggest, scariest great whites. Another comparison is the whale shark, Rhincodon typus, the biggest shark and fish in the world today. These plankton-loving, gentle giants are 38 feet long on average, with the larger females reaching 50 feet. They can weigh as much as 22 tons, making them both lighter and shorter than the meg's upper estimates. The Megalodon's teeth are truly the stuff of nightmares. They are about the size of your hands and sharper than the difference between right and wrong. The teeth are triangular and feature fine serrations, indicating their readiness for cutting and tearing flesh. Like great white teeth, which are 3 to 4 times smaller, meg teeth also have V-shaped jackets connecting roots and crowns. The jaws were also huge. Like the great whites, the Megalodon's jaws were aligned with rows upon rows of replacement teeth behind the front set of choppers. All in all, it likely had 250 teeth at any given time, distributed among the front row and 4 replacement rows. Estimates place the jaws at over 6.6 feet wide and over 8 feet high. That means you could gallop a horse straight into this monster's jaws without even touching its teeth. Even more impressive is the power these jaws could generate. The meg is one of the animal kingdom's bite force kings, and it thoroughly beats most of history's fearsome predators. Model-based estimates place its bite force at a frightening 40,000 pounds per square inch, PSI, which is far above the T-Rex's 10,000 PSI and the great white's 4,000 PSI. In fact, the Megalodon may have the greatest bite force of any animal ever. Unlike most shark species, the Megalodon was likely warm-blooded, like its great white cousin. Warm-blooded animals, or endotherms, can regulate and maintain their body temperatures independently of their environments. In contrast, cold-blooded animals, or ectotherms, are subject to their surroundings and must change their environments to regulate body temperature. Crocodiles and alligators, for example, are ectotherms that constantly go from swimming or resting in water to basking in the sun in order to cool off or warm up. The Megalodon's endothermic nature also allowed it to store energy for intense bursts of movement when attacking prey. When, where, and how did they live? The Megalodon is believed to have emerged in the early Miocene and died out during the Pliocene. This means it lived from 23 to 3.6 million years ago. Though closely related to great whites, the meg and its taxonomic family members were a divergent group rather than ancestors of the modern species. This means megalodons and great whites share a common ancestor. The megalodons family, Otodontidae, probably diverged from this shared ancestor sometime during the early Cretaceous. Again, limited fossil evidence hurts our ability to pin down the wheres and whens of this divergence. The species was distributed all over the world, but it largely dwelled in temperate and subtropical waters. It was comfortable in coastal waters, open ocean, and most marine environments in between. Megalodons were a transient species, moving from place to place in pursuit of food, mates, and better surroundings. These mega sharks were ferocious apex predators that preyed on anything unfortunate enough to be detected by their sharp senses. They ate different kinds of fish, including other sharks, as well as turtles, seals, sea lions, and sea cows. However, many shark experts believe the meg favored whales and dolphins above all else. It was such a prolific whale killer that marine biologists believe animals like the blue whale would not be able to reach their titanic sizes if it was still around. The giant shark was also viviparous, meaning it gave birth to live young rather than laying eggs. When in utero, more developed baby megs ate their underdeveloped siblings, a grisly phenomenon seen in several shark species today. How did they go extinct? There are a few potential reasons behind the megalodon's disappearance. The first is competition. The megalodon existed alongside many other predators that went after similar parts of its diet. Other sharks, whales, and seals also hunted fish. Many of these animals were smaller and more agile than the meg, allowing them to catch smaller prey and restricting it to hunting giants like whales. While large megalodons could easily catch large and slow whales, their young were forced to compete with these other species for smaller prey. As a result, young megalodons probably died of starvation in great numbers. At the same time, the Megalodon probably got too good at catching large whales. Studies indicate that populations of baleen whales, a particular favorite, declined significantly around the time the Megalodon was about to go extinct. There were more than 20 baleen whale species during the Megalodon's heyday in the Miocene, compared to the 6 we have now. Large megs would have to travel further in search of these giant meals, or exert precious energy pursuing quick and nimble prey they were not equipped to catch. Ironically, the size that made them such dominant predators also played a role in their downfall. Another problem, especially for juvenile megalodons, was predation. Ancestors of modern toothed whales or even large seals would not hesitate to get some revenge on the meg by targeting its vulnerable pups. If you catch them young, they won't grow up to catch you one day. Our next theory is climate change. For a long time, scientists argued that global temperatures were dropping during the early Pliocene, and this eventually killed off the warmth-loving meg. However, we now know that the animal had mesothermic adaptations that allowed it to raise its body temperature and endure colder waters. What's more likely is that these temperature drops made the Megalodon's traditional nursing grounds inhospitable for reproduction. Climate change may have wiped out some of the meg's prey. Sea turtles alone suffered a 40+% decline in the Pliocene. Marine animals had declined by over 50% compared to the Miocene. Ultimately, for one reason or another, the ocean could no longer support 60-ton sharks.